Welcome to Reflect with Ed Fassio. Get ready to experience one of the world's first 100% digitally generated podcasts, where we take a step back, dive deep, and strive to learn new things. Join us as we unpack thought-provoking ideas, personal reflections, and inspiring stories to help you stay in the know. Reflect is brought to you by the minds at ByteBrain and powered by emerging technologies from Google, HeyGen, OpenAI, and 11 Labs. Thanks for tuning in. Now, relax and prepare to reflect.
Welcome to Reflect, one of the world's first 100% AI-generated podcasts. Today we're going to take a deep dive into a shift that's, well, it's subtle, but it is truly tectonic. It's changing the entire fabric of how we use the internet and, more importantly, how organizations are seen online.
It really is. I mean, think about the last time you asked the internet a simple question.
Yeah, something practical, like, what does this new pharmaceutical company actually do?
Exactly.
For decades, the answer you got was basically a map.
Right, a list of blue links.
Yeah.
Maybe 10 citations if you're lucky. It was a trail you had to follow.
You had to judge it, you had to verify it. We were all explorers, digging for gold. The internet never just answered for you.
But that whole era it's over. Quietly, the internet is transforming.
It's not pointing anymore.
It's narrating.
Mm-hmm.
Now you get an immediate finished explanation, a summary in complete sentences, and it's delivered with this unnerving confidence.
The map has become the narrator.
That's it.
And that one shift from map to narrator, it fundamentally changes the risk for every single business, government, and nonprofit out there.
It really does.
So our mission in this deep dive is to unpack this monumental change. We're going to define the dangers, this structural flaw called hallucination, and introduce the critical new governance discipline organizations have to adopt.
AI conversational readiness, or ACR.
It's just not enough to be visible online anymore.
You have to be correctly represented.
Because let's be honest, the internet didn't just get smarter. It grew a damn smooth-talking mouth overnight.
It really did.
And now we all just nod and say, sure, that sounds finished and authoritative.
And that casual acceptance, that's where the real danger begins.
So this shift, it's not just a theory, right? We're actually seeing this in user behavior.
Oh, absolutely. We have the data to prove that the age of the Internet Explorer is ending.
Okay, so let's unpack that. What are people actually doing when the internet speaks in that confident, finished voice?
The Pew Research Center has, I think, the starkest evidence. When AI-generated summaries pop up in search results, users are significantly less likely to click through to any of the actual source materials.
So they just stop.
They stop. The Nielsen-Norman Group saw the same thing. They called it a collapse in the need for traditional information foraging.
That's huge. That is the proof right there. Exploration is giving way to acceptance.
If the system summarizes it, we're satisfied.
But why? Is it just... Are we all just getting intellectually lazy?
I think it's deeper than laziness. It's psychological.
Okay.
We're humans. We are wired to trust fluent explanations. Our brains are pattern-matching machines, and fluency, these complete articulate sentences, it reads as authority, it reads as finality.
So if an AI gives you a clean, comprehensive paragraph...
Your brain just perceives that as finished. Why would you start digging through a bunch of links when the expert has already given you the verdict?
So the smoothness of the language is almost more persuasive than where the facts actually came from.
The medium becomes the message, exactly. And when that fluency leads to this widespread acceptance, the responsibility shifts dramatically.
How so?
Well, in the old world, if you clicked a bad link, that was kind of on you, right? The explorer had to verify.
Sure.
But now, the system is asserting a fact. It's no longer about finding the truth. It's about what gets said out loud by this omnipresent narrator.
And if you're an organization, you can't just hide anymore or assume your customer will eventually find the real source.
No, the moment that system narrates, it's basically acting as a proxy for you. That AI's output, right or wrong, is treated by the user as your operational reality, not just more marketing.
Okay, so think about the implications there. An AI summarizes your company's return policy
or a drug side effects.
Yeah.
Or your legal standing in a dispute.
Right. And the user trusts that summary because it just sounds so finished.
That fluent narrative immediately overrides the detailed, hard-won reality that you publish 3 clicks away.
The narrative takes over reality, even if the real answer is buried in some PDF.
And that brings us to the most dangerous part.
What happens when that confident, finished answer is just profoundly structurally wrong.
Yeah.
So the tech community has this very polite, almost magical sounding word for this problem.
Hallucination.
Hallucination. But let's be brutally honest here. This is a known structural failure mode of the system.
That's correct. Hallucination is when these large language models generate plausible but factually incorrect statements. And the real danger isn't just that they're wrong.
It's how they're wrong.
It's that they deliver this wrong information with incredibly high confidence. They'll even fabricate citations or sources out of thin air to back up their articulate lie.
I think we really need to sit with why this happens for a second, because a lot of people probably think it's just a software bug you can patch.
And it is absolutely not a patchable bug. It's a structural feature of how these systems work. The core goal of a large language model is to maximize fluency.
Right.
It wants to generate the most statistically probable next word. Its primary directive is not factual fidelity.
So it's built to sound smooth, not necessarily to be right.
Precisely. If it has to choose between a complete, coherent but wrong sentence and a fragmented but factually perfect one, the model often chooses fluency.
And there's research on this.
Oh, tons.
Yeah.
Peer-reviewed studies have measured and cataloged this behavior for years. Researchers see it as an inherent part of how language gets generated, not a simple glitch.
That is just a staggering difference from old tech. When the internet was a map, if a search result was wrong, it was an inconvenience.
An inconvenience. You'd see a sketchy URL, you click back, you try again. That friction actually made you verify things.
But now with the narrator, that failure becomes profoundly consequential. The friction is gone.
Think about the real-world stakes. I mean, The Guardian reported on how AI summaries were giving out misleading health advice. It sounded authoritative, but it had critical errors.
And we're not talking about a typo on a blog.
No. We're talking about articulated misinformation delivered instantly and trusted implicitly.
That's truly consequential. When the system speaks first, confidently, and wrongly, you're not dealing with a data headache anymore.
You're dealing with something that affects real-life decisions. You get a wrong answer delivered with the confidence of an expert, and the user's first instinct is just to stop searching.
And that structural risk forces us to completely rethink how we manage digital information.
It really does.
For the last, 20 years, digital strategy has just been about one thing.
SEO, search engine optimization. It was all about ranking, visibility, getting eyeballs on your content. And look, that stuff still matters.
Of course. And more recently, we've seen this new thing pop up, GEO.
Generative engine optimization.
Right. And that's the discipline of making your content legible to AIs.
Yeah.
Using clear structure, metadata, so the machine can ingest it easily.
But here's the critical pivot.
Yeah.
And it's why that old mindset just fails now.
Okay.
Both SEO and GEO share an outdated and, I'd say, dangerous assumption.
Which
They both assume the main risk is invisibility. They think that if the AI can just find your content, the problem's solved.
I get it. The real risk today isn't that the machine won't find you.
Nope.
It's that the machine finds you, reads you perfectly, and then confidently, fluently describes you wrong to the entire world.
And that's a PR and operational catastrophe.
Yeah.
That is the gap that AI conversational readiness, or ACR, is designed to fill. The term is still new, but basically ACR is an organization's ability to make sure AIs describe its brand, its products, its services accurately and responsibly.
So we're moving past just tweaking marketing copy.
Way past that. We're treating AI output as operational representation. It's a recognition that you are now continuously spoken for by machines.
And that description needs to be treated with the same seriousness as, say, a regulatory filing.
Exactly. GEO cleans up the input pipe. ACR quality checks what's coming out of the faucet.
Okay, but wait a minute, hold on. If I'm a smart organization, right? I've invested heavily in GEO. I have perfect structured data. My FAQs are crystal clear. Everything is machine readable. Why isn't that enough? If I'm sending a perfect signal, why do I need a whole separate discipline to check the result?
And that is the absolutely necessary question.
Right.
You need ACR because GEO by itself does not guarantee narrative accuracy,
Even with perfect input.
even with pristine source material. Remember what we said about hallucination. The model generating the narrative is a probability engine, not a database.
It's not just fetching data.
It's synthesizing it. And in that synthesis process, it can still introduce errors. It might misinterpret a nuance or combine two true facts into a false third one, or just invent supporting data because it sounds good.
So even with the clearest possible instructions, the machine is still prone to confidently messing up the final report.
It is a systemic risk.
Yeah.
ACR is the governance safety loop that verifies the output against reality, regardless of how good the input was.
It's the difference between sending a clear message and making sure the message received was the one you intended.
And this is key, having a system to automatically fix it when the machine inevitably gets it wrong.
So since this hallucination thing is a feature, not a bug, companies are obviously looking for a technical fix.
Of course. And the primary strategy you hear about is retrieval augmented generation, or RA.
Right, RA. So for anyone who needs a quick refresher, that's when you give the language model specific trusted documents a grounding layer, and you force it to cite those documents.
On the surface, it sounds like the perfect defense.
It does, but it's not.
It's absolutely necessary infrastructure for high-stakes AI, and it dramatically reduces risk. But the research is firm on this. RA is not the finish line. It is not a cure.
And the data backs this up.
Unequivocally. Major studies and even guidance from places like the AWS machine learning blog make it brutally clear. RA reduces risk, but it does not eliminate hallucinations.
The systems can still mess up the summary.
They can still confidently summarize a source incorrectly, misinterpret the context, or even inject ungrounded details into a grounded answer.
So even if the AI is grounded in my definitive internal policy document, it might still generate a summary that reverses a key clause, but sounds completely plausible.
Exactly. We can't just rely on the tech to solve what is fundamentally a human trust problem.
And if the tech isn't a perfect fix, the solution has to be governance.
That's the shift. That's where ACR moves the challenge from optimization to accountability.
So what does that accountability look like in practice? What are the big questions ACR forces you to ask?
It requires specific, often non-technical processes. ACR makes an organization ask, what are AI systems saying about us right now across all these platforms?
And who in this building actually owns the narrative truth?
Who notices when the answer's wrong? Who owns the process for fixing it fast across multiple different AI systems?
That's a continuous maintenance job, measurement, governance, correction loops.
It's a profound operational change. You're not just managing a website anymore. You're managing a complex, distributed, machine-generated corporate identity.
And that demand is creating a new kind of tool.
For sure. We're seeing tools like ClearLex.ai, for example, that approach this through assessment and verification, not old-school SEO or GEO.
They work upstream, so to speak.
Right. Their goal isn't to make you easier to find. It's to check if the AI systems are accurately representing your reality before a catastrophic error gets locked in as truth.
They're reality checkers.
Pure and simple.
So the era of just publishing something and walking away.
It's finished. Now you have to audit the output.
And this focus on verification and accuracy, it's moving from just being a good idea to being a legal requirement.
It is. Global regulation is catching up fast to the reality of the AI narrator.
The law is basically demanding that we take accuracy seriously.
Absolutely. Look at the European Union's AI Act. It explicitly emphasizes accuracy, robustness, and lifecycle accountability for AI systems.
Especially high-risk ones.
Especially. And when a regulator that big uses words like accuracy and robustness, they're signaling that narrative reliability is no longer a business preference. It's a verifiable mandatory expectation.
So if the government is saying narrative reliability is a requirement, then accuracy has to be treated like electricity or data security. It's infrastructure.
Precisely. For any organization in a high-stakes field, finance, healthcare, public policy accuracy isn't a feature you market. It's the foundation your whole operation rests on.
When the AI interface asserts something about your solvency or your patient procedures, the cost of being wrong is existential.
When the interface asserts, accuracy becomes infrastructure. That's the takeaway.
And that phrase from the Act, lifecycle accountability, that links directly back to ACR, doesn't it?
It's the core of it. Lifecycle accountability means you have to ensure accuracy for the entire life of the AI system, not just on launch day. It's a perpetual audit.
You have to monitor the machine's story today, tomorrow, and a year from now.
Because the LLM is constantly updating its interpretation based on everything else it's reading.
And yet, despite all this complexity, the RAG, the GEO, the EU AI Act, the most important moment is still the one we started with.
It's that simple exchange. Someone asks an AI about you. The system answers, immediately and fluently. The reader believes it instantly.
The whole point of ACR is just to control the risk in that single decisive moment.
You don't just publish information anymore and hope for the best. You are continuously reinterpreted by machines that speak with unnerving confidence.
The old world was about making a powerful case.
The new world is about managing the constantly generated narrative about you, and that requires real, sustained governance.
So we've gone from the map to the narrator, from the risk of invisibility to the risk of misrepresentation.
And from simple optimization with SEO and GEO to the necessary infrastructure of ACR.
Right. But here's the final provocative thought we want to leave you with. It builds on this idea of life cycle accountability and this constant reinterpretation.
If your organization is continuously being reinterpreted by all these different machine systems across the web, meaning the narrative is always fluid and assertive.
How do you establish a single, definitive, unassailable source of objective truth?
And what specific durable systems do you need to maintain that objective reality against a constant flood of highly fluent but sometimes utterly false machine narration?
The challenge isn't just patching one bad answer anymore.
It's maintaining reality itself in a conversational world that's built to prioritize how something sounds over whether it's actually true.
In the cyber ocean of online voices and recycled content, something different has arrived. Reflect isn't just another podcast, it's the future of storytelling, powered entirely by AI. From curating data to assembling thought-provoking ideas, we've redefined how journeys are told. Reflect is a podcast that thinks, learns, and evolves with each episode. Every tale, every insight, crafted by the most advanced AI technologies. A podcast that disrupts the industry, breaking free from traditional formats, taking you on an entirely new experience. So tune in now and reflect. We're telling the future.